Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Cogeco North Bay News, truly local television. I'm Greg Estabrooks. Well, some more fireworks, so to speak, at City Council on Monday night, live on TV Cogeco. Former Ontario Fire Marshal Patrick Burke was a guest speaker and presenter, and he warned members of North Bay Council that their recent decision to employ what they're calling dynamic staffing at the fire department to save money could have deadly consequences.
It's particularly disconcerting that the decision was made without consultation with the residents and owners of all the properties that would be affected. But I think what I find most disturbing as a fire service professional, as a fire service leader, is reducing an effective on-duty firefighting staff of 16 firefighters minimum, which is a component that's required to safely and effectively fight a single-family residential fire according to the National Fire Protection Association Standard 1710, reducing that number to 13, which takes that away. It takes away the ability to do all of the simultaneous tasks that are required in order to successfully carry out interior operations, including rescue.
Well, the Firefighters Association is concerned about the decision that's being made to cut the on-duty staffing and increase the response times. And we've been trying to talk to the city about that, but they feel they've made the best decision. So we wanted to make sure that they were getting the information that we feel is available. So I reached out to Pat. I called him and asked him if he would be interested in coming and speaking to council. He said, just send me the information and I'll let you know. So I sent him a bunch of documents. He got back to me 3 or 4 days later and said, Rob, I'm coming to North Bay. He says there's some things that council needs to know. You saw the presentation last night and he made those points pretty clear, I think.
Well, really, I didn't take an awful lot away from it, Clark. You know, you have to recognize that, you know, the city of North Bay is a city unto itself, and you know, as councillors, we're put in a position actually to make decisions based on the information that we have that's pertinent to this particular city. And I do get upset when you have a person like Mr. Burke come into the city and basically from Windsor, for example, and try and tell, you know, North Bay City Council how they're going to operate their fire department. You know, that type of attitude really irks me. We're quite capable of making, you know, the decisions that are required for the fire department.
And the dynamic staffing, he dubbed it as dynamic gambling. What do you make from that?
Simple answer, just straight BS. You know, and I listened to this process where, you know, he suggested because there would be 3 less people from 13 to 16 would make the difference between rescuing someone in a fire and not doing it is just absolute BS.
He gives us things to think about, and I know he has a lengthy resume that was outlined last night, and that's great for Mr. Burke. What we're looking at, though, is with our chief, with 28 years experience, Deputy Chief Saunders with 18 years experience, and our other Deputy Chief Bouchard with 6 years experience, plus 10 or more, I'm sure, in the health and safety sector, is my understanding, at a provincial body. They're giving us their recommendation on how to use more dynamic staffing, more innovative staffing solutions to try and maintain costs. So I had asked how we were to balance that. I didn't really get an answer that was clear, but I asked, how do we balance that? We have people with over 50 years experience telling us that these are some measures that they can use to try and maintain the service to the public while controlling costs.